We need to wait any order. We don't really have that luxury of time. All right. It's nice to have you guys back. I know a lot of you have been enjoying yourself in the last few weeks, and I also hope you're staying safe. So, without much waste of time, I want us to dive into the business of today. First, I want to for the term. So, uh, okay. All right. For the term, first term, third term scheme of work. So, week one, we will be looking at operating system. So, be going into the various integral parts and component that makes up a computer operating system. We'll also be understanding what the system is all about in week one. We'll also be looking at the various functions of an operating system, the various examples of an operating system, and of course, in week 2, 3, and 5, and 4, sorry. Okay, and 5 as well. Week 2, 3, 4, and 5. We'll be going through a practical session where, like I said, I'll try as much as I can to make it a hands-on lab session where we'll be getting our hands wet with some advanced concepts in operating system. So besides the fact that most of us are very conversant with it to an extent, so I'll be introducing us to different platforms like Linux-based operating system, and a typical example of a Linux distribution we'll be looking at is Red Hat and Ubuntu, which is what I'm currently running on my laptop. Then we'll also be looking at some other operating system like Mac. I'll try as much as I can to see how I can spin a Mac OS X on my cloud-based server. So I'll try and see how to get that done so that we can get a feel of how to make use of a Mac operating system. Though if you know how to make use of a Linux operating system, is not quite different from a Mac operating system. And majority of what I'll be showing you are more of command line. So just get yourself prepared to getting your hands wet with a couple of right. So from week it'll be we're taking our continuous assessment test. Well, I don't really know. I can't really say much about this area. I don't really know if it's going to be an online platform, though I still wish it's going to be an online platform where you can take the test and feel good. But I know where I'm going to catch most of you there. Okay, from week 7, testing, it will be a practice. So majority of what will be are more of hands. So if you don't have a laptop, please try as much as you can. If you're joining me currently using a cell phone or a smartphone or a tablet, please try as much as you can to, during the practical session, try as much as you can to use a computer, because we'll be doing a whole lot of. Then for what was on a bit, just to our frontiers of knowledge. So I'm not only going to focus on Windows word processing program. We're going to look at Linux word processing program as well as the cloud. So there are a couple of word processing programs on the cloud that I'll be introducing you to, like the likes of Google Docs is a version of word processing program. Then we'll also be looking at other versions of word processing programs that comes with different operating systems out of the box. That's from week 7 to week 8. So just get our hands well wet with some of these hands-on lab session. So from week 9 to week 10, it's gonna be a practical session as well. So on spreadsheet, of course, when it comes to so we're going to look at we're going to carry out a practical session on spreadsheets from Microsoft products. Of course, you know your Microsoft Excel. Most of you are very conversant with Microsoft Excel. So we're looking at spreadsheet from the Microsoft perspective. Then I'll also be leveraging on some cloud-based platforms like the likes of Google, like I mentioned. Google has so many word processing. Google has so many Office programs like Words, PowerPoint, and Excel. So in the case of Google, a cloud-based service will be leveraging on just to get ourselves to improve our frontiers of knowledge. We'll be looking at Google Sheets. Is actually a version of Microsoft Excel. So if you don't want to make use of Microsoft Excel currently installed on your computer, you can make use of Google Sheets, all right, that is free of charge to use. Then also, you also have Office 365, which of course is Microsoft's free version of Office. Is a cloud-based application. So I'm also going to show you how to leverage on that as well. So you don't necessarily need to have Microsoft Word installed on your computer. You could leverage on these cloud-based platforms. Then also in your Edmodo account, you also have Office programs integrated. So I think I actually did a hands-on lab. I was actually leveraging in Edmodo session. So from week 9 to 11, spreadsheets, hands-on lab sessions. Of course, you can see that most of what we'll be doing are more of practical. Okay, so please try as much as you can to ensure that you're using your computer in our next session. Today was just more like an introduction, and also to give you a heads up of what class. So please, and to ensure that you have your computer, either a laptop or a desktop for the most part, for these classes. Okay, so with that being said, I want us to dive deep into, I don't know, I was just so in a hurry to get this organized. So I want us to dive deep into what we'll be covering, taking a look at for today. So for today, I want to start our first session on operating system. So today we'll be looking at operating system. Operating system, that's our topic today, OS. Of course, you've been hearing about the acronym OS. Most times you might ask yourself, what's OS? What's OS? Is it actually a strange thing or something? So OS is not that difficult, and as much as I can to that we a better understanding of more advanced. You have to just progress in life. Well, I'm different modules. We're going to look at Well, next class, division on Zoom. Our next class, so please try as much as you can to. These I can't whiteboard. I can't share my screen so that you can see what exactly I'm doing to follow along. So I want it to be a Zoom session in our next class so that I'll be able to share my screen and you can see what exactly I'm doing and you can also follow along. Except I'm actually doing an offline video, not just a live session like this where I could show you my screen. Okay, so today we'll be looking at our objective today, definition, or at the end of the class we should be able to understand, define what an operating system is all about. And secondly, we should be able to state the different types of operating systems. And third, examples, various examples of operating system. And the last but not the least, or the last, we should be able to list out or outline the various functions of operating systems. Alright, with that being said, let us dive into operating system as a concept. OS operating system. So what is an operating system? From what I have here, of course you can read along, but then don't bother. An operating system is a system software that manages computer hardware, infrastructures, software resources, and provide a common service for programs. That could be a little bit difficult to grab, but not to worry. I want to break it down more better for us to understand the concept. Now, I want you to see operating system like an interface. For example, if you happen to go to make some withdrawals in your bank accounts and you go through the counter or a machine called an ATM machine. Now, the automated teller machine, which is our ATM, is an interface between you and your money. Alright, so look, I want you to visualize an operating system like that. An interface between computer hardwares and the user. So in other words, visualize operating system as that interface that allows the user interact with the computer hardware. Of course, you agree with me from the diagram you have here. You can see you have a monitor. Let me get my marker. Blue. I think I prefer black. Alright. You can see a monitor, right? See your mouse, your printer, and the keyboard. You agree with me that these various devices I've highlighted or circled are all hardware devices, right? So of course you know what is a hard, you know what an hardware, of course, your components of the computer feel, right? So just like what we have here, the hardware, physical, you can touch it. The monitor is a hardware, physical, you can touch it. The disk drive is a hardware, physical, you can touch the disk drive, but in order to touch the disk drive, of course, you have to unpack, disassemble your system unit in order to see the hard disk drive. The mouse, of course, you know the mouse is a hardware. Then the printer, of course, you know the printer is also a hardware. Now, in order for you, have you ever wondered how your keyboard is able to interact with your monitor? Or have you ever wondered how your keyboard is able to on the monitor? The history behind it is the operating system. Without the operating system, or in other words, the OS, the computer would have just looked like an empty box. So in other words, you need the operating system to be an interface between you as a user and the computer hardware. I don't know if that makes sense to you. Now, if I try to pull these a little bit from the diagram, hardware, bare metal device. Hardware, you're free to call it the bare metal device. So you have it, the hardware, which is your physical components. You have the operating system on top. Of course, you know the likes of Windows 2000, Windows 10, Windows 8, Windows 8.1, Windows 7, your Mac, and all of that. They are all operating systems. And of course, technically, they are referred to as system softwares. So, after the hardware infrastructure or the bare metal device, let me get my marker. The hardware, which is what I have here. The next layer you're having is the operating system. That is the next layer, the operating system. After the hardware, the next layer is your operating system. After the operating system, of course, you agree with me that having installed like Windows 7 or Windows 8 or Windows 10 in your computer, you know that the next thing you can install in your typical example of an Microsoft bundle, if you get PowerPoint and all of that. Hardware, after the, can you please system, like I, of course, you know, application. So if I want to as a system and the software, Interrupting the class. That might. Class. And software. So you can. If and software resource. Is an interface software. Let me put that down. Can someone please, two of you, input bets clear enough for us to like so how divide is the user. Can't see any other thing. Okay. Is anyone having image? Edmodo, you see the file. not seen. Okay, y'all. Is the operating system you must on the traditional operating device or your hardware. Locally or running the is the feature. Also understand the cloud. It's a process a virtual instance virtualization has to you can create just understand that has to do with you can create a session of okay so Windows is more is not really is it's more of virtualization. Yes, it's not actually different from that. All right, Windows subsystem is a technology that allows you to install a Linux based operating system on Windows. All right, so that's Windows subsystem. Okay, any other question? Okay, go ahead. Okay, it's about what? Okay. Are there what? Okay. Well, currently, of course, you know that Apple it's a very proprietary company. So they don't really have a subsystem uh, for any other operating system. So if you're using an Apple device, of course, it's difficult for you to dual boot or create or run another operating system simultaneously with your Mac OS on it. It's not going to allow you. All right. So there is no subsystem for Apple or Apple computers or any Mac OS. So Mac OS doesn't support subsystems. Subsystem is actually a concept Microsoft came up with just to allow a user to be able to run a different uh, operating system or a different kind of operating system in your Windows operating system. So in other words, your subsystem, whenever you're setting up Windows subsystem, your the secondary operating system runs on your Windows. So if your Windows fail, subsystem will definitely fail because the subsystem depends solely on the Windows operating system. Do you understand? So they don't work differently. So the subsystem is built on the Windows operating system. Okay. Okay, yes. Actually, uh, the truth of the matter there is this: you can still hack into an OS, all right, and install it on a different computer. Like you can get Mac OS by default. Mac OS cannot run on any other computer other than an Apple product because of the architecture involved. So, but there is a way that you can tweak it such that you can install a Mac OS on a normal Dell computer or a normal HP computer and all of that. There is actually a hack for that, but I don't really think that's what you want to do. Okay, that's all the question for today. Okay. Any other question? All right. So since there's no further question, this brings us to the end of our class. I'm going to upload the video session. All right. I'm going to publish it very soon in the class, so you can have access to it. Then, of course, I did a walkthrough where I showed you how our directory will be structured. I think I did that, right? So if you go to the class, you go to folders and search for week 1. You see the various resources we actually used for this class, all right? So you can have access to those resources. Then I'm also going to drop the notes there. Then before the day runs out, I'm also going to publish an assignment. So of course you should ensure you submit the assignment before Friday next. Ready a quiz either up, so try as you can to attempt that. All right, see you guys later, and do have a wonderful day ahead and have a wonderful weekend. Okay. Yes. Someone wanted to ask a question. You have a question about what? Can you be audible so that I can hear you? Okay. I did what? All right. Out of, that's a good score. You are not sure of what? Okay. Okay, maybe I'll look at that. You know, I've been very much busy, so I'll look at that. Welcome.